Okay, hello, Yate. I'm Twee. My name's Twee Nguyen, and I am the director and founder and primary instructor of the Navajo Healing Project. And I'm really excited this year about all the interest, and I hope that you all join us and get some good information here today. We have about an hour to spend today to field questions and to give you all the information that we can give you. I think first off are just maybe some general introductions. So I'm Twee. I've been coming to the Navajo Nation for about 8 years doing pop-up clinics and then teaching for the last 4 years or 5 years these intern programs. So this is the fourth cycle of a cohort. And I do the primary instructions for the traditional Chinese medicine. And then along with myself, there will be two other instructors, Daniel, who you see on the screen, and I'll let him introduce himself, as well as Rosie, who is in Taiwan right now, and it's like midnight there. So I told her I didn't really expect her to be here, but she does the instructions on food and some Chinese medicine worldview as well. So three instructors for the program. And I'm going to let Daniel introduce himself real quick.
Hello, everyone. I'm not going to unmute myself on my computer, so I'm just going to talk into Twee's computer. Hi. So my name is Daniel. As Twee said, I have been with NHP for a couple of years now. Last year, I started teaching massage, otherwise known as Tui Na or Chinese medical massage in NHP, and we expect that to continue this year, along with the other things that you'll be learning, which Twee will go into. Twee and I are partners in life as well. So I am also like the admin person. I do a lot of I do all the admin for NHP. So if you got any emails, those were coming from me. If you have any technical problems, you can send them to me. Yeah, I think that's about it. We have a lot to get through, so I'll turn it back to Twee.
Okay. So like I said, we've been coming to the Navajo lands. I have been for the past 8 years, at first just doing free pop-up clinics where I saw that there was a great need for it. And then starting with COVID, doing these intern programs. If you want to read a little bit more about the history of it, I hope you've all visited our website, which is navajohealingproject.com, and you'll learn more about just the history of the project. So I'm just going to start very basic. The mission of our project is to empower Dene individuals and community with simple and powerful self-healing perspectives, methods, and tools based on the understanding of traditional Chinese medicine. So what we teach primarily, I think I'm always talking about the foundation of Chinese medicine being a way of living and a way of understanding. That is very much weaved into what we teach. And then what comes from that is the tools. So everybody is always very excited to do something like this for the tools themselves, which is, like massage and cupping and gua sha, which we do cover, moxibustion and dietary principles. So all those things we cover, but I always say the most important part about our program is learning the basic foundation of the medicine, which is a different way of understanding our bodies and our connection and healing. And that understanding itself is actually very, very healing. And it has overlap between with Indigenous knowledge, actually, which is something that we always try to weave into the program as well. I'm sorry, I forgot the fourth person who actually teaches in this program, and he comes maybe 3 or 4 times, is Robert Yazzie, who I'm connected to, and our friendship is what this project is about. and he's a Navajo elder that comes and teaches about Indigenous perspectives. He's also right now busy somewhere, so he couldn't come.
He's in
But
Africa.
he's in Africa, so he's always traveling and teaching as well. But he does make appearances to our classes and to our clinics and help me weave traditional Chinese medicine with Indigenous knowledge as a strong foundation for teaching. So that part is actually what is most important in our program. And from that, from that firm understanding, then we teach the tools that come from that sort of understanding of healing and Chinese medicine. So that's a basis of what we do. So then in learning this, you learn a language of Chinese medicine and thinking of Chinese medicine. So when you're in this program at some point, we'll all be kind of speaking the same language of qi and yin and yang and all kinds of things that we start to learn and cultivate together.
You're frozen first. Oh, okay. Never mind. Go ahead.
Okay. And then, so that's the basis of what we learn together. It is a sort of a year-long program. We say it's year-long, but actually it starts in March and typically ends in January, so not quite a year long. The meetings are over Zoom every other week. It's usually a weekday evening. This year, I'm leaning towards Tuesday evening. But that's somewhat flexible depending on everybody's need. But I think it's going to be Tuesday evening. We usually meet from 6 to 7:30 here, which is 7 to 8:30 where you are. Most of you are, I think, for instructions. And instructions is through Zoom. In between meetings, we communicate through Telegram. And I'll be sending videos and other learning materials that way in between. And usually when we meet, you'll be learning more theory, you'll be learning about other things. We'll be talking about maybe recordings that I've sent in between for you to listen to. We might do exercise together. I often like the Zoom time to hear from you all and do check-in. And so it's a mix about what the Zooms are like. And then, so there's roughly about 20 to 25 Zoom meetings, okay? And then in-person meetings are maybe every 2 months, would you say? I don't see you.
Yeah, maybe 2 or 3 months.
Every 2 or 3 months. These in-person meetings are very important. They're usually a full weekend, a full Saturday and Sunday weekend of hands-on learning. So whatever we talk about through Zoom on the full weekends, we'll have hands-on learning. So if you're learning body work, the full weekends, you'll be doing massage, you'll be doing cupping, you'll be doing all the things that we talk about. And those are very, very important. Twice a year, we do big free clinics in the springtime and then in fall. So in spring, it's usually sometime in April. In fall, it's usually sometime in October. And these are big clinics where you should be at not just for the weekend, but also Friday. So the weekends help you understand how to set up a clinic, how to contribute to creating a clinic. And so the Friday before the clinic is also a very important time for us to come together to learn how to work together to create a big clinic. We cook food for that clinic. So probably many of you have gone through our clinics. They're quite popular and they're a wonderful healing space to be. And so the Fridays, we work as a team to create that clinic together. So twice a year, you're expected to come Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The other hands-on clinics is just a full weekend. Sometimes it's been in California where we send people out here to do hands-on clinic, but it just depends on the number of people and what it looks like. So that's also a possibility, but most of the hands-on clinics are done in Arizona. Okay. And then at the end of the program, we do have a wonderful retreat at the end for completion. And that's usually done out here in California where we come together. And then the program comes to a completion. So that's usually sometime in January. The requirements for going through the program is there are no requirements as long as you're 18. Well, that's not even a requirement. We've had younger person. So there's no requirements for coming through the program. Actually, we do give preference to people of Dene and Indigenous descent, and people who are really serious about and committed to doing this work. So we recommend that you attend all the Zoom meetings, or at least 80% of it, and that you attend all the hands-on the weekend meetings. If you are unable to do some of them, just let us know. But it's important that you not only attend, but that you stay in communication if things come up that you don't understand, you can't attend. There's no real homework given in between these meetings or any tests or anything like that. Our program is actually very much very different from traditional education that you might be used to. And that's a very purposeful. We are trying to teach in the way, in the worldview itself of traditional Chinese medicine, which is very organic and intuitive. And it's a way of learning that really applies the things we talk about to everyday life. And so if you want to call it homework, I guess it's not something written, but every time you learn something, it's really good to apply it to how you understand your day-to-day life. It's a way of living into what we're talking about, because it's a perspective that's actually very different from regular understanding of health and medicine and life even. It's one that gets emphasized through what we learn and needs to get reinforced by our meetings, but also you're kind of chewing on what we've talked about in between meetings. I don't know if it makes sense to you yet, because it's sort of something that you have to be in and understand, but I'm just trying to give you a flavor of what we do. And so there's no, I think a lot of people are used to programs and homework and tests and that sort of thing. It's nothing like that. It's more your willingness and capacity to be present, and your willingness and capacity to really understand and cultivate and embody the things that we talk about in this program. And a lot of people feel like there's a type of commitment and they feel stressed, or that it would take away from the other commitments they have. But at the heart of what we do, actually, if you start to understand what we're teaching, then it actually has the effect of helping you in other areas of your life. So just to say that as well. Okay. So for those of you who have not applied yet and just came to understand what it's about, then the next process is for you to go to the NavajoHealingProject.com to fill out an application. Once you fill out an application, we're going to go through it. And then the next step is we will email you to book an interview with us. And once we talk to you in person, then we can decide if you're a good match for the program. We will be out there on March 15th on Saturday to meet you in person, if indeed you are a part of the program in Window Rock. So that's the next steps to take. Okay. Oh, and then the last thing, of course, is this program is grant funded. So all instructions and supplies are covered. You don't have to pay for any of that. And we do have some limited funds available to contribute to travel and lodging for people in need. So just talk to us about that as well. Did I cover everything?
I think so. Maybe one thing that's coming to my mind, take these off. One thing that's coming to my mind is this program has been going on for several years, and the interns and graduates of NHP that have gone through the program are a lot of them continue and stay on the program because this is a very unique style of learning. And what we're actually teaching is we do teach tools of Chinese medicine, but what we're actually teaching is something much more relevant to your life, as Tui was talking about. And it's a deeper learning, and it's a deeper engagement with healing. And so the learning just continues over the years. And so a lot of the interns that have gone through the program already continue and stay on, because as the program grows and changes, but also the learning just continues. So some of those intern graduates are here today. I don't know if we want to have
Make them talk.
make them talk. If you guys want to talk, feel free. If you want to say anything about your experience or NHP or anything like that, we'll give it to you. We're not going to make you say anything, put you on the spot like that. But yeah, and then after that, we can open the floor for questions. I think if people have any questions, you can feel free to type them into the chat, or you can unmute yourself, or maybe raise your hand so that we're not all talking on each other, and then we can call on you if you have a question, you want to speak it out loud. But of course, you can always type it into the chat. And I do see there are a couple of people joining us just on the phone. So for those of you who are here on the phone, you can just unmute yourself if you can figure out how to do that. And if you have any questions that you want to communicate. And Krista, I saw you give a heart. Does that mean you want to say something?
Sure. Yat a she Crystalina she touching the land tenchikin the bushes tea told originally from northern Arizona. I grew up and went to school in Winter Rock, so I was born and raised on the reservation. I'm currently living out of state right now, but I'm one of the graduates, so I'm one of the first cohort, so to speak, with Kane, and I've been a part of it since 2021 of April. So it's been a beautiful journey. I've continued to stay on ever since. And I feel like it's a very important thing for me because I can put it into the work that I actually do on the outside of NHP. But I feel like a lot of healing has happened from the moment I stepped into NHP to this current moment. And I continue to learn and grow and be understanding of like this type of healing, and it resonates really well for me. So I feel like I am able to ripple that effect to the people I serve in the community I'm currently in and continue to use it, and it being a healing part for not only myself but the people I serve of like relative wise. And I think it's just a beautiful thing to hear Twee talk about the beginning of where it all started, and I love hearing where it all comes from and continue to witness the growth in it. And it is what you put into it, and so if you put a lot into it, it'll definitely bring a lot of, for me, it was a lot of blessings in different ways. And so I really enjoyed the program and will continue to be a part of it because it's actually in my own community that they come to the clinic. So my whole family is there. My grandparents, my aunties, my mom, my brothers and sisters are a part of that community. So it's important for me to be present in that way and to be able to serve in a community aspect. So hello again, and my name is Krista, and I've been a part of it since 2021.
Thank you. I really like you saying that you get what you put into it. This medicine and how we teach it is really deep and profound. And I've been doing this medicine for 20 some odd years now. I have a clinic here in Berkeley, and I'm still learning. And it's one of those things where what you learn is so simple, but it goes really deep. And so you can never stop learning this. And it's kind of like indigenous wisdom. So we're all at different phases of learning. And I try to make the program so that it accommodates where everybody is at. But when you put more into this and start to really understand and incorporate it into your life, the more you get out of it, and the more beauty and blessings, like Krista was saying, that you'll start to experience. So thank you, Krista.
Yeah. So I want to talk briefly.
Oh, Keisha's gonna jump in.
Go ahead, Keisha.
Ja, binnen she Keisha Ray Peaches in she might education is like whole kind of bashing touching the irashi child is the sign that hello, good morning. My name is Keisha Ray Peaches. I reside here in Kent, Arizona. I have been with NHP for 2 years going on. My experience with NHP started for me personally in my life at a stage where I needed to find myself and be pushed at another level of healing instead of my usual routine. I understood I was in a safe space with Tweety, Daniel, Krista, Kane, Robert. It opened doors for me to opportunities of a new learning experience where I found myself in of healing that I needed, to be vulnerable, to express myself to individuals I have not open up about certain things. This healing is really unique, especially the teaching technique and the hands-on, especially when Uncle Robert incorporates the teaching as well. You see the full circle of it. As I continue in HP, I take this teaching back to my community, to the net elders, working with net elders, sharing it with my family, and seeing the difference of what it can change mentally, spiritually, psychologically, emotionally. It's another in-depth of self-care for yourself and for others, for those around you. My experience has been very special and unique. It's a new family support system for myself. I'm looking forward to meet you all in March and to share this knowledge with you and continue learning. With that, it's a beautiful feeling to have these people in my life, to see me change and grow and evolve into the person that I am today. The retreat is a very special, unique experience for yourself in that space, to take the time to just slow down and self-reflect of all the growth and knowledge that you've gained throughout the year. Looking forward to sharing that with you all and meeting you all. Thank you for listening and hearing my experience with NHP. Yeah.
Hi, Auntie.
Hi, baby.
I'll go next.
Yat she Carla Peaches Inishia, Marish Kishni Nishlan, Trochana Bashishin, that she need Ashes take, Azalana Dashanella. This is my daughter, Leilani. I'm from Kayenta, and I have 2 daughters. And this will be my 3rd year with NHP. And my experience for the past 2 cohorts has been so healing for me. Really understanding my my body and the signs that my body's telling me, especially with the change of each season. And so the things that Twee, Daniel, Rosie, and Robert teach, and a really understanding of being in nature and being with nature is something that I really took into depth for me. So it was pretty interesting to see the growth within the past 2 years, and just to have a better understanding, because not only that I noticed change within myself, but also utilizing the tools that were being taught and being able to teach my daughters, or for them to even be present. So during Zoom calls, you'll see both of them pop in and out, and even at the in-person trainings or the clinics as well. So being able to have my babies there is always a big relief for me. So they get to just hang out, or to talk to Twee and Daniel and Rosie, Krista, and Kane. So it's really nice. And also just even thinking about the food that Rosie's making, or even other friends and family within HP, just being present and sharing their love for the food with not only us, but with the community as well. So it's really nice. Thank you. It's my story.
Yeah, thank you everyone for sharing. I'm sure that people are learning a lot more from your shares than just the basic technical stuff. It's really important to hear about that. I think then we're just gonna take questions. Like Daniel was saying, if you want to type it in or just unmute yourself or raise your hands if you have any more questions.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having us. I just had a question about the weekend meetings. Will those also be hosted in Window Rock?
So for sure, the free clinics are in Window Rock, and most of the training sessions will also be in Window Rock. We've played around with the idea of moving them around depending on where a lot of people are from. So maybe if there's a large people from Chinle amount of people or something, we might play with the idea of moving some of the trainings around. I think it just depends on where most people are from. But so far, it's always been in Window Rock.
And then Brenda asked, how many interns do you select for each cohort?
Yeah, so in the past, we have really let everybody come in, because it's actually never been this, there hasn't been this much interest. So this time we don't know yet. We do have limited grant funds, so we have to think about when we do the in-person interview, and we look at your applications, I'm going to try to accommodate as many people as possible who can make the commitments and who, I think it just depends on the resources we have as well. So I think I'm going to say this time we can accommodate at least 15 people. But for me, it's if you really want to be in the program and everything checks out, then you can be in it. But there is a limit to the amount of people we can accommodate, but we don't know yet.
And then Lee asks, how much in advance are we notified of hands-on training?
That's a good question. Historically, we've been very loosey-goosey about dates and stuff, as the other interns will let you know. It's usually at least, I would say, 3 weeks to a month in advance. But we're going to try, the more people we have, the more we just have to stay on top of it and give people notice so it runs smoother. So I think that moving forward, we're going to shoot for 6 weeks to a month notice.
Yeah, good. So Lee says, thank you, since I do work on Saturdays. So I think it's, we're expecting this cohort of students to be larger than what we've had in the past. So as Twee is saying, we're going to have to be more organized in our planning. So if you're concerned about the time and about your capacity to commit, I would say apply if you haven't done so anyway, and set up an appointment to do a one-on-one interview with us, and we can talk more about that directly with you. And then Stephanie asks, how old is the youngest person we've taught?
The youngest person was 17 when she started.
And then Lee, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Lee. I'm currently living in Scottsdale, and I'm from Navajo Nation, originally from Chinle. Right now, I'm finishing up my master's degree in social work. I will be done in May. 2 questions. What is the feedback that you get from Diné people, as well as other tribal members or community members, about what you are teaching? Because when I looked at the Facebook, there was some comments about, wow, you should be, why are we teaching this? We should be teaching Navajo stuff. What is kind of like the general feedback? I've used acupuncture in the past, so it was amazing for me to quit smoking, as well as I treat my asthma, and just overall, just like the pain and discomfort. So it was really beneficial for me. So I'm really, I did let my boss know, as well as some other people at work. So they're really supportive of me doing this. That's why I kind of need at least 3 weeks so I can get coverage on Saturday. I work at a psychiatric hospital in Tempe. And then the second question, I forgot the second question, so I apologize. Okay, so, but just the first question, if you can answer that for me, I would appreciate it.
Hi, Lee. Thanks for the question. Something that I learned over the years of working and traveling there is, as you know, the Diné community is varied, very lots of different beliefs and opinion, but we are mostly overwhelmingly support and positivity. And I think that also just reflects the community that we are connected with. I wouldn't be able to do this work if I didn't have the support of community members like Robert Yazzie and elders. Rita Gilmore is I think, really well-respected healing women that support our work. Marley Sharbala, I think she's well known in the community, very, very supportive of what we do. So we have a lot of very positive support for what we do in the community. And because it only draws people that support our work, and overwhelmingly everybody that comes supports what we do. But I think in the bigger picture, I'm not sure how insulated we are, how small the community is, or what other people think. But that's my answer. Krista, did you raise your hand?
Yeah, I just wanted to expand on that just a tad. Being a part of NHP for so long, I feel like that's the beauty of the medicine, is that a lot of the things that I talk about in terms of treatment, even when I'm serving other communities other than the Diné Nation, because I reside currently in Washington State, so there's a lot of Polish, Salish communities here. And I feel like the treatment just makes sense when you talk about, because a part of it's talking about the medicine, like what's going on and like things that may have been in your life that hospitals and westernized medicine isn't able to really comprehend or really connect you. So there's a lot of disconnection. So this medicine reconnects you. And I feel like when you're reconnected, you get connected to everything else, because we all have the understanding of ancestors to an extent, to a creator, to the energy, to a lot of these aspects that are so beautiful that I feel like it tends to want, for me personally, wanted me to even reconnect more to my traditional background and language and understanding. And Tree does that really good with Uncle Robert coming in, because he brings like the 4 directions, the understanding, the thinking and the planning, and how do we come back together. And it's building community of like who's there for us and sees us and hears us. And so like I feel like when a lot of people come in, and I've noticed that over the years, people who've never had any type of traditional Chinese medicine, they've heard of it, but never really have access to it. And having access is a big important thing for me, is that when people have access to this beautiful medicine, it's their own medicine. We're just reminding them what medicine they have inside. And I feel like it's a ripple for them to even expand to their own traditions and their own culture and their own history, and reconnecting to their ancestors in some way. And everybody's so different, and that's great and very unique. And so when I treat people in clinic, it's you just see the difference of it for me. And they tell their family, and their family members come the next day to clinic, and they're like, I've had this and I had a great experience. So I feel like it's like being with the medicine is the important part, and I feel like it shows across cultures and what we think, what is important, what we value. So I feel like also with Twee saying, I don't feel like we have, I think I read some of the posts too, and I was like, interesting, but it's so different when you step into that space that's like holding some really good things in all aspects. And so like I think that's the beauty of our clinics. And so I just wanted to kind of chat about that a little bit.
Thanks for that, Krista. I feel so happy when you're talking. I'm like, wow, you really you really took to the medicine. Yes, I love what Krista said. I just want to share my experience from coming there for so many years with this medicine. I think in the beginning, it was about 8 years ago when we started to do free pop-up clinics. The acupuncture was kind of scary for people. I mean, we're talking about needles and something so foreign. And I remember feeling like, wow, how do we make this medicine more acceptable? Because I think that when you don't know about something, the first thing is to be very cautious, or to think that it's something different. So I think in this time period of us trying to educate and also do the medicine in the way that we're doing, we're always trying to, like Krista say, take the medicine down deep to the roots where it's all very similar things. So the tool is a little bit different, like acupuncture, but we're always talking about the same type of medicine, the medicine of connection and, good energy and good food and all that everybody can relate to. And over the years, I've noticed a huge change where in the beginning, it was hard to get somebody to even agree to getting acupuncture because it's so weird. And now in our last clinic, people come and ask for it. There's not really resistance, or it's really becoming something that's very accepted in the community, and not just accepted, but sought after. And so I think over time, because we teach the way we do, because it's not about the tool, like I'm saying about something foreign, but that the medicine holds it, the depth of the medicine also holds indigenous wisdom, because all natural medicine, if you take it to its core, it overlaps. It's all very much the same thing. And that's why it's important for us to teach the medicine in the way that we do, that we take it down deep into the roots so that it's resonant with everybody and many different communities. Are there other questions?
There was a question about the deadline for applications. We have set a March 1st deadline for folks to apply. And that goes for, well, so there's folks here from other places beyond the Navajo Nation. So even for those of you in California or in Washington, if you have yet to apply and you're listening to what we're saying and you're interested in creating something similar in this regard, then please do apply as well. Even though this is the Navajo Healing Project, we're just going to use the same application process for all of you as well. So so if you are interested, please do apply. This goes for everybody. Please do apply on or before March 1st, and then we'll be sending out emails to set up individual interviews with you. We need to find a system that will make that work. So it might take a few days before you get an email, but just keep an eye on your email. And as we move forward, if you do have questions, you can always email bcanavajoproject@gmail.com, and that will come directly to us. You can go to the website, of course, to learn more. This Zoom session is being recorded, as you can all hear and see, and I'm going to be posting this video online as well. So if there are folks who couldn't be here today, if you know of people who are also interested, this will be made available for people to catch up on. So I'll be putting that up on the NHP website as well. And yeah, I think that's it. Do you have any other questions? Anybody have any further questions? Go ahead. Go ahead, Lee.
I remembered my other question. So the issues or concerns that people come to the clinic, or the pop-up clinics, what about substance use? Because that's my I guess my career, mental health. So does that also, did you have people that come because of maybe substance use or anxiety, depression, those kind of things? If you can kind of share that. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, we have.
You're on, but you're frozen.
People still hear me?
Hold on a second.
Okay. I think our internet connection is a little unstable, but yes, people, okay. People come, a lot of people with stress, anxiety come through. Sometimes we have people that come through with substance abuse, and we do have tools to help support them for that. And you will be learning about that during our program. Any other questions?
I had a question. So after the training is done, is there like certification, or what is the like a like certificate, or what's the end part of the training?
Yeah, we can provide you with the certificate of hours completed. We don't provide certificates that you can display enabling you to do something to somebody, but we can provide you a certificate of completion of program. This is primarily a self-healing program, and it takes a lot more hands-on interest and practice to be able to certify to actually do work on other people. But we really encourage you to do work on your families, yourself, and with supervision with us during the pop-up clinics. That's where you get a lot of the support. But it takes a while for you to be part of the program for us to give you a certification to be able to use these tools in general.
Okay,
And I think I may have accidentally lowered someone's hand who had a question. Did someone else have a question?
No more questions?
Krista.
Yes.
Go ahead, Krista.
I think it was Zoom iPhone user, but there was 3 questions that were in from Brenda, Melissa, and Tanisha. So it's the oldest person you've taught. You kind of talked to Melissa's about reaching out and scheduling, which would be email after you apply, and then a person applied last year, so they're asking if they need to reapply.
Yes, I've answered that person directly, and then we said 17 was the youngest.
And the oldest too.
Oh, the oldest. Who's the oldest?
We've had somebody start, I think, in her 70s that, oh yeah, and then Frida and Nolan, so 50s, who've gone through the entire program a year long. We've had a couple of older people start and unable to complete, so that'll happen too. But I think a person who stayed the whole year, I think they're in their late 50s, right? Mid to late 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then yes, if you've already applied last year, you do have to reapply.
Oh, no. No, it's fine. Don't worry. Disregard that.
Never mind. And then did we miss anything else?
I think that's it. Krista, is that it? I think we covered everything.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I saw.
I have a question.
Yes.
I was wondering, how close do you guys go to to Page, Arizona?
Page. So there has been discussions about us maybe doing something in Kayenta. We have never done anything directly in Page, and we haven't. Usually when we travel through, we come on I-40 and go directly to Window Rock. So we don't usually come up to that area of the Navajo Nation. But depending on what's happening with this cohort, I mean, we very much play things by ear, generally speaking. So if there is a large cluster of interns that, you know, are in Chinle, Kayenta, Page, Gallup, etc., we may end up doing in-person trainings in different places. But historically, besides the very first free clinics that we offered, Window Rock has been our home in terms of where those clinics are housed. So that's where a majority of the in-person clinics and trainings will be, most likely, but anything's possible.
Okay, then. Thank you.
What does it say?
Keisha says we've had individuals from Inscription House travel out to Window Rock for treatment. And then I had another question for the one-on-ones. In terms of scheduling one-on-ones with us, I will reach out to you for all of those who have applied. So if you are interested, even if you're on the fence, and if you want to talk to us more directly about the internship, please do apply. Go to the Navajo Healing Project website, which is navajohealingproject.com. Apply there. And then once we have your application, on or after March 1st, I'll email everybody that's applied and to schedule one-on-one interviews with you. So make sure to fill out that application if you haven't done so yet.
Okay, any more questions? Okay. I just want to say too that I think a lot of our answers feel a little new and flexible, and that reflects how the program, each time we do it, changes according to who comes in, as we always like to accommodate and you know, it's a part of a new learning that the people who come in inform the curriculum, and it's not a static curriculum. And so we might be giving an answer now, but you know, it can change and be flexible according to who comes in and the energy of the group and what's needed. And so I think that's when the other interns return. It's, even though there's a very basic curriculum that's the same, everybody's all, including myself, is always learning new things. The program is very alive. The medicine is very alive and very flexible and adaptable to what's happening. And so, you know, in terms of logistics like location and what we learn and all that, it can be changing to some degree. We have a very basic curriculum that we try to stick to in terms of teaching, like teaching about the seasons. Let's say that's a type of cycle that we teach from, or teaching basic concepts of qi or yin and yang. So there's some very basic things that we hold on to, but within those basic structures, there's a lot of flexibility, because we're learning how to adapt and learn about how to adapt these things to individual lives. And everybody that comes in is different. And so in that adaptation, things will look different and change. So it's just maybe a little bit of understanding how we do the program. And I'm really excited this year because we do have a lot of interest. I think that's also grown out of the evolution of this program. And I really encourage everybody who's resonant with what we've talked about here to apply and to go through the program. You'll find that it's actually a very fun learning program. It's it's not stressful in the way that school's usually stressful. It's fun, it's connecting. It's not just learning tools of healing you do on somebody else, but it's tools that and ways of being that transforms your own life into more alignment, into more harmony, into more balance. And then healing, just to say that healing isn't always just like rainbows and unicorns. Healing is hard work too. And so a lot of things that come up for healing so that we can blossom more in alignment can be very, very difficult things that we share with one another. And so there's that too. That's part of the program that I think the people who have been with us through the years can attest to that sometimes it can be very difficult and challenging because you're confronted with a lot of your own, what we call chi stagnation, energy stagnation, or things. I think learning situations that are intimate, that involve group dynamics and everything always brings up stuff for healing. And so we always try to use that as part of our learning, because we are learning something that's not in a textbook for somebody else. We're learning something that is about our own lives together. And so when you come part of this community and part of this learning, you're entering a community that's committed to learning together. And so there's a lot of beautiful things about it, a lot of challenging things, and a lot of fun things about it too. So I hope that everybody will apply, and I hope to meet you all in person soon. Like I say, we will be out in Arizona, what is it, March 14th?
15th. So Saturday, March 15th in the afternoon, for those of you who have had one-on-one interviews with us after March 1st. Sorry, so I'll say this again for those of you who just joined. If this information is being recorded, it's going to be put on the Navajo Healing Project website. And if you missed information because you weren't here for the meeting, this whole meeting will be up on the NHP website, and you can rewatch it there, share it with people who weren't able to come today. And so please do apply if you haven't applied yet, and then we'll reach out to you for one-on-one interviews. And for those of you who are accepted after those one-on-one interviews into the program this year, we'll be meeting in Window Rock on Saturday, March 15th. And we'll give you more information about that, but that'll be in the afternoon. We'll meet all together as a group and start the cohort at that point.
Okay. Any very last minute questions? We're about to sign off. It's like almost exactly 9 o'clock. Good job, everybody. And we look forward to meeting with you and connecting on the phone. Yeah, and reading your applications and seeing you in person. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.